Uh, Hello, tech folks. Today we'll be working with Google Cloud SQL instance, which is a managed database service in Google Cloud platform. So today we'll create a Cloud SQL instance, a managed database server, and compute engine where we'll deploy WordPress site as well as a separate compute instance where we'll run Cloud Proxy instances which help us to privately connect our Cloud SQL instance through the private IP address. So first we'll be creating Cloud SQL instance. So let's see how to create Cloud SQL instance. For creating Cloud SQL instance, you can see there is a hamburger menu left side, and when you scroll a little bit down you can see Cloud SQL. Click there, and when you click first time on this dashboard, this looks like experience Cloud SQL at no cost, but we have to customize it. Also, we are not using any enterprise plus version or production grade, so we have to fully customize it. What version Cloud SQL instance database engine we have to choose, what password we need to require it, and on which availability zone or region we can deploy it. So instead of creating this one, we have to look for down here, like looking for other way to get started. So you can see there is a create custom instance. You can click it here where we'll have a database engine selection option like MySQL, Postgres, and SQL Server. So this is for Microsoft. This is MySQL database. So our main goal is to create a MySQL engine, database engine. So choose MySQL. Next we need enterprise, not the enterprise plus. There's a subtle difference between those because it's about the more capabilities, features, and highly available database engine. So we are not considering the highly available environment. Our main goal is to have minimal configuration and resource to use it. So we'll be choosing enterprise with 99.95 availability. So there is a preset, predefined or already defined preset like database configurations options. For production there will be high resources such as CPU and memory. Development less resources, right? And for just for sandbox environment we have less resources like 2 virtual CPUs, 8 GB RAM, and 10 gigs of storage, like single zone. But if we are going to production, it will be highly available based on the requirement. But so we can go with whatever is default one. The database engine we strictly recommend that based on the requirement we have to choose 8.0. You can leave it as it is. Also enable automatic minor version upgrade, will leave it. Give it an instance name like database server name. So WordPress DB. Password I'm going to create this one. So there is a clear instruction that it should be matched with the password policy. So see, so I have created. I'm not sure how to generate it. it should match all the contents. Okay, next we'll be choosing region and availability zone. So let's see, specify any zone if we have. So the reason it's bad if I selected here, like if you have option to select but you have the resource location or in effect, that is restricting your region. Okay, so let's US East 4 leave it as it is, and for zone US East 4B. Okay, so primary zone will be US East 4B, right? Okay, this is the single zone zonal availability, not the multiple one. So we'll be selecting single zone US East 4B. Let's check the advanced configuration where we have customized your instance. So let's select it here. So we can customize it like general purpose, shared core, or dedicated or balanced one. These are the machine types similar to compute instance. So as you can see, the general purpose shared core are good for prototyping and are not covered by Google Cloud Service Level Agreement. And HP CPU is subject to 250 megabyte per second network throughput cap for peak performance. Each additional core increase the network cap up to theoretical maximum of 2000 megabyte per second. So for performance sensitive workloads such as online transaction processing like OLTP, a general guideline is that we need to ensure that our instance has enough memory to contain the entire working set and accommodate the number of active connections. But in our case, we'll be choosing dedicated core, and we'll keep one virtual CPU and 3.5, which is almost 4 GB of RAM. We'll be selecting next. We need a storage selection. So storage, there will be option that SSD and hard disk. So you all know that SSD is faster based on the performance like query per second and throughput as compared to hard disk. So choose whatever the requirement you have. So we'll be choosing hard disk significantly because it will reduce the cost. If you choose SSD, the cost will increase. In right side you can see the summary of instance, how these are being changed when we tweak in the changes, like pricing estimate without discount, right? So total without usage discount is 0.1 cent, but if you take a look, storage type I've got to select, see the hourly cost get increases. So I'm gonna select hard disk. I'll keep it the 100 GB. We can keep it enable automatic storage increase or disable it. It's up to you. Also the throughput will be get changed. You can see the disk throughput here, read, right? SSD, faster read, right? Slower read and write option. If you can input output IOPS, you can see the number of read or write operation, input operation. SSD has a much faster IOPS and disk throughput compared to as hard disk. So setting our storage capacity too low without enabling an automatic storage increase can cause our instance to lose its SLA, so we have to enable it. Next, connection. You can see how we are going to connect or communicate with this Cloud SQL instance. So we'll unselect the public IP and keep the private one. In the network section, we have a default virtual private cloud, right? We'll keep it that one. For network connection is not set up, so you can see the network connection is not set up, right? And it say network setup configuration required. When you confirm the network setup, service network API is enabled, right? So let's confirm the network setup. It will enable the service networking API, because in Google Cloud every service first need to be enable its API. When then you can create any resources. Even if you are creating compute engine which is similar to EC2 instance in AWS, it required to first enable the API for that services and then you can work. So let's wait for 1 to 2 minutes. It's a typically 1 to 2 minutes. Meanwhile, we can also see the private IP is done, because our main goal is to use private IP, connect internally in the cloud, not exposing the public IP address. You can see there is a ton of options. Authorized network IP to whitelisting kind of operation. When you have a public IP enable, it's still not able to access internet, but you have to whitelist here, like which IP or CIDR can communicate with this cloud instance database. There is a Google Cloud Service Authorization, like enable private path or data API authorization. This is related to data transition, encryption kind of things. Like security section, where security section is SSL mode, like SSL mode require and disable kind of things. So we'll use allow unencrypted network traffic. It's not recommended, but we are not using any SSL connection, so we can use allow encrypted network traffic. And then Google manage internal certificate. These are the things, but let's see what's the progress of networking. It's still taking time. Okay, so you can see this is like private services access connection for unit has been successfully created. You will now able to use the same network across all projects. If you would like to change, we can change it here. So default network we had, right? And the allocated IP range. Default IP range to hit select. Under the connection, what we did private IP, and This is for single VPC network. So that's what this is saying. Like when you choose private IP, it will again have two options, like private service connect or private service access for one single IP internally. For private service connect, we'll have multiple VPC if our resources are on multiple VPC, and our Cloud SQL instance, which is we provisioning now, need to connect on multiple resource. Then we can use this one. Let's create on click. There are lots of options to work upon, like maintenance, week 2, data protection, right, kind of thing, but we are not paying attention for that. Let's wait for the moment. It's again take like 5 to 8 minutes or more than that to fully provision this database. Meanwhile, we can look at it, what's going on at like WordPress DB. It's a instance being created. This may take a few minutes meaning 5 to 10 minutes it does require. So the utilization already pops up here, right? We have Cloud SQL Studio agents to interact with System Insight. This System Insight is about how our database, CPU, memory, networking, and other disk operations are being monitored or have detailed visibility of our resource utilization. Query Insight is a term where when there is a read-write operation, insert, update, delete, such kind of query, when our application connect to this database, so that the query inside the detail operation, the transaction for this can be displayed here, like not observability but the monitoring. Connections, how many connections are connected or not, have this, or how we can enable it for further. Users, right, like this database users, databases, backups, replicas in operation. So this dashboard will be up here for more detail because it's in currently pending state, so it's take time to fully have the details. You can see it's an instance is being updated. Our Cloud SQL addition is enterprise database engine 8.0. We do not have public IP address and private IP address. High availability enable for database instance only, but it's a single zone. And the storage we have allocated is 10 GB. Let's wait for a moment. Let's explore. We recently discussed that we have to create two instances, WordPress instance and proxy instance, but in this our lab, these instances are already created, so we have to just work up on configuration. You can see we discussed that we'll create Cloud SQL instance, WordPress instance, and proxy instance, but these two are already done in this lab, so we just worked on operational actions. So let's go back to the Cloud SQL instance. Still it's in progress states. Under operation, you can see the instance is still in being created stage, right? This will be updated with the completion time if process is completed. In the overview page, if you take a look at say learn the basic of cloud is CPU utilization, memory. This will be updated soon because let's remove this from here. Okay, it's say created here, but we need to refresh it. Okay, it's now moved to creating backup. This may take a few minutes again. Okay, this is green now, so our DB instance is fully created. You can see the private IP appears here. Also the storage is a little bit changed. So 649 mega being used on allocated space. So now we have to configure a proxy on virtual machine. So let's move to compute engine. Our main goal is to create Cloud SQL instance database managed service in Google Cloud. We also had a agent that will create WordPress instance, a WordPress server from scratch, but those are already present. Also the Cloud Proxy servers is already there, so we'll proceed with the connectivity and setup configuration. So let's navigate to compute engine, click on VM instance. We do have a WordPress private IP where we'll deploy WordPress, or might be already deployed there. So let's create first the WordPress proxy and SHS into it. We'll set up the cloud proxy in it, Cloud SQL proxy, a service or a binary service which let us Cloud SQL instance to fully privately connect. So you can see this must be Debian instance 11. So well, this is a WordPress proxy server, so we'll download the Cloud SQL proxy binary, and this will be the link. So this is the download link for Cloud SQL proxy. We have downloaded as Cloud SQL proxy and changed permission to executable. So you can see it should be look like green, and it's a binary file. So checking its file type you can use. See this executable and binary. So before starting this binary, like if you say Cloud SQL and help page, you can see this is the help page, right? What it is. So it say the Cloud SQL Auth Proxy allows simple, secure connectivity to Google Cloud SQL. It's a long-running process that opens local sockets, either TCP or Unix sockets, according to the parameters passed to it. A local connection connect to Cloud SQL instance by using the corresponding socket. So suppose database is in our Cloud SQL instance, which is managed one, but we can connect it locally like that, like 127.0.0.1 and 3306. Even MySQL engine is not running, a database engine not running on this server, it's still considered as a database which proxies connection to our Cloud SQL instance, right? Currently our Cloud SQL proxy is not running. We need connection details for that. So for connection, let's go to VM instance, right? Click to Cloud SQL instance and we have to pick the connection IP for that. So click on WordPress. Before creating WordPress, we need to create a database, right? So the connection name is here, connect to this instance. So this is the connection name we are referring, connection name. So this is the connection name we needed. So let's copy it here and keep it handy. Also we need to create the database, right? So we'll pick the connection name. Next, in addition to work with our application, we need to have database. So under databases, we can say we have an information schema, MySQL, performance schema, and this is the default schema, but we need to create the WordPress. So we can click it here, create database name will be WordPress, right? And we can click it, great. You can choose whatever the character set you need it, but in our case we keep it as it is. See, the WordPress database is created. Next, let's go back to our SHS instance here and we'll create a variable called SQL connection and value will be this. Copy from here. Let's echo it if it's set correctly. Yes, it is. Next, we'll be running our proxy, which is right here. Oh no, sorry. Let's run this Cloud SQL proxy binary with .cloud, and you can see we have a help page. I think help page is not, and so we need to give an instance metadata. No, let's see what's this mandatory part here. So quit for disable log message, log debug, verbose, structure logs, term. These are the general settings. With the connection, we need the instance to connect Cloud SQL managed database and cloud. To connect to a special list of instance, set the instance parameter comma separate, right? So we need to have this, right? Instance is plural, and our instance name is stored in variable equal to TCP, right? The database port. We have to mention it the port as well, right? To work with. So the MySQL port is 3306 and ampersand to run in background. So it's say running on, right? The process is gone to background. This is a Cloud SQL Proxy version 1. It's no longer receiving active feature development. For the latest feature implement, migrate to V2, right? I think we have downloaded the very older version, but no problem. So it's a ready for new connection, listening on port 306, right? And let's see if this process is running. Grab cloud, right? It's still running. The process is gone to background, right? Even we can make sure like tunlp if it's installed, right? The process is running here on localhost. So there is no database here, right? I can show you AUX grab or MySQL anything. There is nothing running. When this binary Cloud SQL proxy run, it create proxied connection through private IP to our managed Cloud SQL database, and it's binded to localhost. When you do telnet localhost and 306, we do not have a telnet, so let's use nc netcat zb localhost and 3306. Okay, so telnet is not here, so let's sudo apt install. See, the connection is open to our database, right? Now next we have to configure our WordPress application so that this database can be used. So let's see if this does have a external IP. Yes, it does. So copy it and let's open in Chrome browser. So we can also use this curl command. Yeah, this was the same IP address, but it's not working. Can we do it curl here? We have to check why we are not able to connect it. So go to terminal. Okay, port is open, but I don't know why my application is not working. Let's verify the compute engine why it's not able to open in browser. Go to the VM instances. This is private IP. Let's see the private IP if it's work. Okay. So let's follow it. Let's give it the WordPress name, username, root, and password is. Click submit if it's work. Okay, so if password are missing, we can reset it password. Let's say we'll able to do that. Suppose we miss the password for our Cloud SQL instance, we not able to remember it, so there might be a chances that we can reset password. So go to the users. This is the root, right? Root user. You can regenerate it here, right? Or let me give me So let's use the new password. And database host, instead of localhost, we can say 127.0.0.1. So let's check the compute instance. Connect to the WordPress private IP and see if there is any Cloud SQL proxy being able to connect to port 3306 or not. So we have two different virtual machine, one for WordPress private IP server and one is WordPress proxy server. So PS Go Cloud. Okay, there is nothing running, right? There is nothing. That's why we are not able to connect it. We need Cloud proxy instance to be established the connection, not this the private one. That's the main use case we build, that this one, the proxy instance, right? Proxy is running here. So let's try fee. Okay, great. So 93, which is the IP. I think there was a connection issues or proxy not able to establish. So now we do have a okay, no, this is still not working. To copy this IP address, proxy1. Okay, now it will work, right? Because previously the WordPress proxy server where we have running Cloud SQL proxy binary was keep running and not showing this UI, but is able to show the WordPress option. So the username is root and password is very secure. Alrighty, so there was a password issue. Now let's say run the installation. See demo site. See, our WordPress site is deployed and up and running. So we have completed this lab. Even you can see if you take a look on Cloud SQL instance, we had WordPress database, right? And this WordPress database will have tables. So go to Cloud SQL Studio. We can select database, WordPress database, username, root. So root is not support actually, so we can't use this currently. But the goal was to deploy WordPress site with managed database, right? We have successfully deployed it. And we are getting the connection, right? Instance closed, connection created. So let's check if there is a WordPress table being created if you want to verify it. Yeah, MySQL binary, host will be local host, user will be root. There you go. Show schema. See, we have a schema WordPress. Use WordPress show tables. There you go. We have a different tables is created. Select start from users. We'll have a demo users or okay, WP users. See, this is the demo user that we. So we are done with our lab instruction. So what was the goal? We have created Cloud SQL instance. WordPress instance was already there, so we haven't created. We already had Cloud instance, we haven't created that. So but we run binary called Cloud SQL Proxy binary on this instance, copies the IP of this instance and set up WordPress instance and verify that our WordPress application is up and running. So thanks guys for watching it. Thank you.